Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of The Gavel, featuring attorney Ana Toledo. Ms. Toledo is the senior attorney and general counsel for Targeted Justice. She has a background in constitutional and environmental law and is an experienced litigator, including 2 cases at the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's Ms. Toledo.
Hello everyone, welcome to another week of The Gavel. I have prepared such a good podcast for you today. I am so thankful to have you here with me because you are in your home doing the same fight I'm doing from here, and it is bringing fruit. It is bringing fruit, and although sometimes it seems that it's a hopeless fight, we are seeing good things happen. It's just that we cannot expect everything to happen from one day to the next. This is a horrific program that has been in the making for more than 50 years. So little parts are coming out in pieces. And I think that we are in a historic moment where we're going to be able to see it all crumble down. But before we go into the good news of this week, I just want to, I'm just really very thankful, not only for you being here, but for being able to be here and bring you this good news, because we are all walking miracles. Do not ever forget that. Make that affirmation. I am a walking miracle. I have survived military grade weaponry from the most powerful nation on this earth. So let's come back, collectively invoke the Lord's presence to cover this space, because we know that there are dark forces that are intent on not letting the light come out. And they will try, and they have tried. Just like we have this next Saturday, we have the monthly meeting, and we know that they're going to try to interfere with it. So please like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, tag a journalist that is interested in covering all the marvelous things that are happening now. So this week I was inspired to read something from Romans chapter 8, and it goes like this. It says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. For creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. For the creation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God. Our community has gone through horrific sufferings. Everyone's journeys has been in many ways similar, but in many ways different from each other's. And we still have one thing in common, and it is that we have endured it, that we have been relentless. And I think that the time for the never has God abandoned our side, and pretty soon we were going to see the fruits of our efforts. So again, please help me defeat censorship, because we are being censored, and that is one of the problems. That is perhaps one of the reasons why this program has lasted for so long, that the censorship has not permitted our message to get out to the people that need to listen to it. So the more of you that share this kind of content, the better chances we have of it reaching the correct ears and eyes. So this is no time to back off. This is a time to move forward with a firm step and a firm stance in social media if you haven't done it until now. I first want to give a shout out to a digital warrior that she has been on her own. She has been relentless, fighting very respectfully, very intelligently, and her handle in X is at Behest Beauty. Natalie, thank you for the wonderful work you're doing. she took it upon herself, and I just help her grow her following, because and reposting the content of all of our digital warriors, because as you know, um, the more it doesn't take any effort from you to simply repost the content. Okay, so thank you, Natalie, and I hope that everybody follows her. um Saludos, everybody. I'm gonna today, I promise, I'm gonna try to answer some questions towards the end. I'm gonna focus on the news, and those that want to stay a little bit afterwards, I will answer questions so that I cover everything. Okay, so please remember also, on X we have the Digital Warriors community, and we on TikTok we don't have a presence because Targeted Justice was permanently banned without any explanation, and they say, okay, file an appeal, but they don't let us log in. So if you are in those other platforms where we don't have a huge presence, please repost the content that we put on X, or your own content, as long as it sticks to the message, which is, let's end government weaponization. We'll deal later with the other things, but let's deal with government weaponization, which is in the lips of everybody. Thank you, dear Craig. So now I'm going to tell you about the wonderful drip things that are happening. First of all, as you may remember, last week Rand Paul had a hearing on the Quiet Skies, and this is how he concluded his meeting, his hearing.
We're going to keep asking questions, and we're going to find out who did this. This is the tip of the iceberg.
You know how the criminals are with me. Okay, here it is.
Who's interested in this will continue to give us information that more people will step forward. And those of you who are interested in reform will participate with us in finding legislative solutions to try to make sure this never happens again.
Okay, so we know that Senator Rand Paul has left the investigation open until February. And as many of you know, it was this hearing that inspired me, and God put it in my heart. I am moving to DC during these months, the coldest months, and I'm going to go meet the people, the people that are in a position to shut this down, because they don't seem to have all the information. And I have prepared for a moment such as this. So this week, he put out what he called a flash report regarding his findings on that hearing. And one of some of the evidence he put out was this, which are the logs of the flights where Tulsi Gabbard was surveilled and followed around by the TSA air marshals. So one of the things that I already did it, and I'm going to be writing a Mira about it, a post on it, and it is, I already did my TSA request on what flights did they follow me around, and to give me the notes of what they, of what they wrote, the report. Oh, she had a peanut butter sandwich, whatever, the stupidity that these criminals have to be writing on our boring lives, right? So they cannot say, no, we cannot confirm or deny, because they already publicized it for Tulsi Gabbard. So on that, more shall be revealed, and that is TSA, the now defunct Quiet Skies programs, that we know for a fact that the Quiet Skies fed off the handling code 2 of the terrorist screening database. Be clear on the fact that there is only one terrorist list, which is the terrorist screening database that was created pursuant to Homeland Security Presidential Directive 6 of 2003, that consolidated the terrorist list of 14 agencies. And the Quiet Skies, the 4 S's, come from Handling Code 2, who are the people that are subjected to additional, and Handling Code 1, which is, do not let them get on a plane. Okay, so what happened, among the things that Rand Paul told on this hearing, or found out in this hearing, was that there were private people, target officials, right? Target officials that were private people that were targeting officers. And in this case, it was the Washington University, something like that. It was Washington University. But here, this is very interesting. One of the findings, this is what tells you that he's not very clear, or if he is, he's not writing it in there. He says there were 234 subjects added to a TSA watch list associated with January 6th. In the same period, 135 subjects were removed from the TSA watch list associated with January 6th Capitol violence. Individuals were removed once nominated by the FBI to the TSC watch list. So it seems that after they were on the Quiet Skies, if the FBI put them on their watch list, they removed them from the TSA because they were already on the FBI. That's what it seems. I don't know. Well, okay, I have to check here. Today I was, please write me in the comments, because I'm checking the airplanes that are doing the rounds here to interrupt with my, and this one is N5LS. I hope that you are not violating the law by interfering with my broadcast here, because it's not legal. Anyways, yeah, it's Fly Radar. I recommend everybody subscribe to that. It's really good. Anyway, so what this tells me is I need to go there. I need to go ask questions. We need to meet with people, you know. Now, the most revealing, as I said, is that here you have private universities. You know, this is all supposed to be classified and intelligence. What are private universities? George Washington University Program on Extremism. They were the ones that were evaluating the data and putting people on the TSA Quiet Skies. These people, you know, this is just such a violation of everything that can be construed as legal. But this is one of the findings that Rand Paul put out there. And so what we need to do is be a presence. You know, we need to, and that's why God put it in my heart. I cannot stay here, because half of my, you know, it doesn't matter if I work 7 days a week. The criminals interfere with my phone calls, with my emails, and then they whisper to their ear, God knows what, you know, to any person that I am talking to. So the good thing about all of this that we're finding about private universities is the people that were placed on that list by these private universities and suffer damage. Guess what? There are a lot of deep pockets. It's not just the government that is going to pay for their harm. There are private endowments. And this is what I've been saying all along. It's not, okay, the government has what, 32 trillion in debt, but it's not just the government that's going to have to pay for your damages and mine and everybody in the community. We have here universities that were profiting from grants by DHS. That is why DHS didn't want to say what the $110 billion, where did they go to? Because a lot of it was criminality, and it's still going on. Then you have the cell tower companies. They know they have weaponized their cell towers in order to perpetrate the harm on you and me. And then we have hospitals and doctors. Yeah, we're going to put them out of business. Yes, that is my goal. You know, we are going to make these people pay for the harm, and all those insurance companies are going to pay for the harm that they have perpetrated. Okay, so that was Rand Paul last week. And this week, as you all know, I'm saying it's drip, drip, drip. Why? Because they can't just like, boom, say everything at the same time. No. This week, we had another information drip, huge flood actually, which is after the Quiet Skies scandalous revelations, Miss Bondi went to Congress and she assured Congress people that there was no more targeting going on. Listen to this.
It has ended. Harmeet Dillon is running our civil rights unit, and she is doing an incredible job.
Okay, we know this is a false statement of fact, and I'm not saying that Bondi is lying. I'm saying she's being lied to, because Harmeet Dillon, we have a lot of TIs that have sent letters to the Civil Rights Division, many of them. And you know what? This is what they answer. I'm going to read it to you because it's a mockery. Okay? Look at that. Based on the information you submitted, our team determined that the situation you described does not appear to be within the jurisdiction of the federal rights we enforce. For that reason, and the exercise of our enforcement discretion, the division will take no further action regarding your correspondence. Okay, this is half true. And it's because for the Civil Rights Act, 42 U.S. Code 1983, it was created to curtail the abuses by state governments and state officials if they violated your civil rights. It didn't occur to them that the federal employees were going to violate your civil rights, and that is why we have what is called a Bivens action, which is a lawsuit against crooked FBI agents or federal agents. So what happens is this is very self-serving of the Civil Rights Division, because what we enforce is against the states, right? The states violating your rights. No, but Pam Bondi just said the following. Let me just put it again. What Pam Bondi said. Pam Bondi said the weaponization is over. And then, like we say,
It's the ultimate weaponization, and weaponization under Donald Trump has ended. It has ended. Harmeet Dillon is running our civil rights unit, and she is doing an incredible job.
There you have it. I think she just has too many employees under her, and she doesn't know the whole truth. Then Kash Patel came out and made a post. He's also chiming in, saying that the weaponization is over. And excuse my, okay, here it is. This was, see, he said, under my leadership, the FBI will deliver truth and accountability, and never again be weaponized against the American people. However, we're still being tortured with directed energy weapons because we were illegally placed by the FBI criminally, without due process, on a bogus blacklist. I think he's been lied to. I think he's genuine. I think Mr. Patel is genuine, and he's being lied to. And that is where we come in. And that's where I come in. I'm going to go to make him realize that he is being lied to, because it seems my letters don't get there. Okay? So, but this is good. And I'll tell you why it's good. Because, and I'm going to talk in a little while about our Privacy Act requests. They cannot deny, with these admissions of fact by Mr. Patel, they cannot say that I'm going to deny you your documents that we have in the prohibited access and restricted access files. But I'm going to go to that a little later, because I'm not going to jump into that now. So we know it hasn't stopped. And these are good admissions of fact. These are good admissions by important people. And I just think they both have huge personnel issues, and they need to get down to the truth, and we're going to tell them the truth. If you've been denied your Privacy Act requests, I'm going to talk about that later. So, because now we are in a different situation. Now we are in a different position, okay? So, let me go to the next, the good news that are coming out this week, okay? Which is When the dust settled after the Quiet Skies hearings last week, even more revelations came out. The FBI was monitoring the calls of 8 senators and 1 representative. And what I think, really, it's not that they were just monitoring, oh, he called this person and this number. No. I think they were listening in. But Dan Bongino, who is the one that brought the bad news to them, didn't want to say the whole thing. Or maybe he doesn't know the whole thing. But I'm absolutely certain that if they did this illegal thing, they listened in too. Here is Ron Johnson talking about
By the way, this is the first time I was targeted by the FBI. Under the Obama administration, the same thing happened to both Senator Grassley and I. As part of the Foreign Influence Task Force, we were giving a briefing to try and convince us that the Hunter Biden laptop was no big deal. Basically, trying to throw us off the track. So this is major corruption.
There you go. Okay, so we know that Senator Johnson has publicly stated that he was screened for Havana syndrome. And this is a good thing. When I was in DC, I got to speak to him shortly, and we delivered, and we met with his staff, and he's aware of the problem. And I think he's an ally for us because he's also a victim. So I hope you understand how good news this is for us. I hope you understand. You say, oh, well, they're only looking into them because they're important people and in Congress. Yeah, but the thing is that it's all gonna trickle down to us. That's why let them be irate about it, because it's all gonna trickle down to us. Mr. Patel informed that he fired all the agents that were involved in this criminality. Remember, these people, they didn't have any probable cause or reasonable suspicion. For the FBI to move its surveillance, they have to have a reason to do it, not just for political vendettas or reason or paranoias. So Mr. Patel fired these special agents that, like those in the Hitler Army, probably said, I was just following orders. Well, from now on, they have to realize, those criminals that are spying on us, they have to realize it's game over for you, dude. So stop doing the illegality. And also a hello to the people of Infraguard that are the ones that hack and surveil us too. We're coming for you too. Don't think we're not. Okay, so this is great news. They're going to get fired. Everybody that participated in criminality is going to get fired. That's how the FBI is going to be cleaned up from deep state criminals. Okay, so you know that Mark Said lost his lawsuit, that he wanted to shield the identities of those 5,000 special agents that had participated in persecuting and obliterating the lives of the J6ers. Well, even though in the memo that was publicized, it didn't say their names, when we get our information, we are going to get the name of the criminal that nominated us, knowing that we did not meet any reasonable suspicion to be in any terrorist list. And we're going to sue them. And we're going to take their very last sock. So Senator Hawley, he was awesome. I mean, many people, I just picked the most awesome ones, and he was really good talking to Ms. Bondi about transparency. Get a load of this.
Investigation, full transparency.
He wants, oh no.
This chapter in American history needs to come to a close, never to be opened again. The use of the most powerful law enforcement bodies in the world against ordinary citizens and political opponents must end once and for all. And we have a chance to do it, and it needs to be done with a thorough investigation, full transparency.
Amen to Holly. Yeah, I have another airplane. Let me know in the comments if the transmission gets, because I have here right above me again another airplane, and I'm doing this because I want to document if any interruption of this transmission happens. Well, isn't this amazing? Then, aside from that, Holly also promised that there will be prosecutions. Okay, he's not letting go of this. He is not letting go of this, and he is. You watch, you watch, you watch.
We need a total investigation, a thorough investigation into everybody who was responsible, and I think there needs to be prosecutions.
Okay.
There needs to be prosecutions. He doesn't even know the beginning of it. Yes, everything is looking good. So he doesn't, I think that Holly will have the guts to do the church committee. He has the intelligence, he has the heart, and he's a Christian, and I think that he will have it in him to be the star of the show. That's my prediction here. Okay, so Mr. Patel is also into, accountability. And this statement he made yesterday is very relevant for all of us. Okay? This is just a little part. I am taking the little snippets of the important and relevant stuff for us. Here it is.
Jane FBI. They took this information where they subpoenaed 8 sitting United States senators, put it in a lockbox, put that lockbox in a vault, and then put that vault in a cyber place where no one can see or search these files. They're called restricted access and prohibited access. Restricted access means some people get to see it. Prohibited access, you put it in there when you want to hide it from the world, and that takes the authorization of the Attorney General and the Director of the FBI. So not only did they weaponize this law enforcement, but when we got in there, and when I got in as the FBI Director, from my experience as Russiagate, I knew where to look and what rooms to open and what doors to kick down. And that's what we did. We found this information to expose the politicization by Jack Smith and the prior Department of Justice. I mean, just think about it. 8 sitting United States senators, phone records were gathered and subpoenaed through the grand jury process, and it was buried and wormholed. It was the hope that no one would find it. So we're just scratching the surface here, but accountability is coming.
Accountability is coming. Accountability is coming. And I want you to realize that with these admissions, also with Senator Grassley, who was the one that declassified that memo that talked about the prohibited access and restricted access, now your Privacy Act request has to be answered after searching in those prohibited access and restricted access. Why? Because the Privacy Act does not allow the agency to decide where to look for your records. They say they have to show you all records in possession of the agency, unless there is one of the exceptions, which here, since you're not a criminal, they don't apply, right? And I have to remind you of the following. Yeah, we're going to get into the Privacy Act request. I want to remind you of the following. In these restricted and prohibited access files, the first document we're going to find is your nomination form. It's going to have the name of the criminal that put you on this list. That's another defendant in your lawsuit. Then you're going to see the confidential human sources reports of you buying strawberry ice cream at Ben & Jerry's. Then you're going to see all the emails that have been intercepted that you thought made it to their destination. You're going to see your social media posts that were censored and eliminated by the FBI criminals. You are going to see the collusion of public officials with this program and the communications with them. It's all going to be there. And that's why it is so important that accountability is coming. We have to make it happen. We have to make it happen. And for this reason, you need to prepare. You know, I have told people that Yeah, what happens to us is very terrible, but we are in the unique. Normally, when you have, let's say you have a car crash, right? Then you have to reconstruct the scene in order to present it to the court, how it happened and why the other person is liable. We are in the unique position of not only gathering our evidence, but building our case as the harm is being perpetrated upon us in real time. You can journal, you can collect photographs, evidence. Just today, the criminals did a very disgusting number on me. When I was watching my church transmission on YouTube, they put a very vulgar in on the side, on the Google ads, they put a very vulgar picture there just to humiliate me. Guess what? I did a screenshot and I have that evidence. And in due time, YouTube is going to have to answer why that picture was put in there. And so you are privileged in the sense that you can be gathering your evidence and journaling and making it happen. Now, even if you have been denied a Privacy Act request in the past, this is the moment to file a new one. And I'm going to warn you, since they don't want to give you the information, they're going to make it hard for you in the sense that you didn't, you weren't specific enough. But for that, we have a solution. And one of the things that I want to show you is in our targeted justice website. Okay, if you go to activism and you go to how to fight back, and you scroll down here, this is an updated FOIA example. Okay, and then you can substitute your information there and construe it pursuant to your needs. I know that they might still try to give you a hard time, and for that reason, Jill Amack, who is an editor, will be providing services for anybody that contacts her directly. Her email is jilltj@proton.me. Let me write it here, jilltj. And she will help you because they did you didn't send enough information to her, so she knows how to does that say, I'm sorry, I'm a little blind here, jilltj@proton.me. They did it to her, so she knows how to answer back. So this example that I put in there specifically says, and I demand that you look in the prohibited access and restricted access files, because that's an invention of them, an illegal one too. Okay, so you have, now we are in a with all of these admissions happening, particularly that the illegalities that were done to these senators were put in these prohibited access and restricted access files. Well, guess what? You are no different as a citizen or a legal resident. You are no different than these senators. You are in the same position, just like Tulsi and the flight records. You have a right to know what is in those prohibited access and restricted access files about you. And that is what we are pursuing. We are today in a very different position that we were 5 months ago, when Michael Seidel was still the director of the FBI office. Either he retired or he was removed, or God knows what happened to him. But he's no longer there. He left his apprentices there who will try to hide the information from you. But we are here at Targeted Justice to help you navigate through it, because we are going to force the issue no matter what. They have to give you your records. Okay, so there we go. We're going to make it happen. Now, finally, I'm going to announce. Okay, before I go into that, I want to show you something. Many of you know that I went to Puerto Rico because I had legal business to handle there, and I got to look for the stuff. When I came to Houston, I only came with a little carry-on bag, and that was it. So I left a lot of things behind, and one of the things I left behind was this cable that I had used. I knew that the implants in my body could be maybe burnt out with electricity, so I would zap them, and it was horrifically, do not do this at home, it was horrifically dangerous and painful, but I was desperate. But since I have good things that I use, I want to share with you, just so if that's your case, okay? This is it's a zapper that is done by Target Source, and it delivers like 3,000 volts to where, like when the criminals, when they want to harass me, they start, like I said, triggering implants in my body. And so I just apply this to wherever it is, and it shuts them down. So if you have that problem of the W band, I'm telling you, for me, this is something I never leave home without it. And it's really worth it. So I just put it out there for those of you that are in a similar situation, and even for the nanotechnology. It like kills it. It's temporary, right? Because for some reason they get to recharge it or reprogram it or whatever. I don't know the technical words, but it is a very good product. Okay, so finally, as I announced, I am packing my bags and I'm leaving for Washington, D.C. to fight for you and for me, because I want to be free from slavery. And like I said, after watching the Quiet Skies hearings, I said, I cannot stay here in Texas. I need to be there. I need to be there talking to these people and telling them about Havana syndrome and about the illegalities in the FBI terrorist screening database. So we are in a historic moment. You have seen it. This is the moment. And, opportunities, they come, and if you don't take them, they're gone. This is our opportunity. Until February, we have the investigation on the Quiet Skies going on that we have to explain to him. You have to open it to the blacklist of the FBI. And then we have Havana syndrome going on. As you know, Dr. Lambert, I discussed it last week. He did a petition to have NIH and CDC not only recognize that civilians are victims of Havana syndrome, but also to put out there the protocols so that doctors across the nation can start diagnosing and treating people with Havana syndrome. So this is Target Source LLC. It's where the Silent Night, okay? Somebody just asked me about that, the product. Okay, so I'm going to put here my, here it is, at the stage. I started a campaign to finance it because I don't receive a salary. I am not going to receive a salary. I am donating my time, which if I were to work in a law firm, I could probably get, I don't know, $600, $700 an hour billing, not paid. Paid maybe $300. But here's the thing, with 30 years of experience, a master's of environmental law, and the experience I've had in all sorts of litigation. But here's the thing, I am going to fight for freedom, for everybody's freedom. And I need your help, because this is going to be, I'm going to live within my means, but I am going to be out there being your voice. We don't have a voice in the Capitol. We do not. It is outrageous that a community of hundreds of thousands of victims of government weaponization do not have a representative there. And I want to be your representative there. So that is why, even though I really, really don't like the cold weather, and I know it's going to be hard leaving the safety of where I live, which I live in a very safe place, I'm going to do it because we need to ride this wave. We need to take advantage of this historic moment where the topics are illegal surveillance, government weaponization, watch listing, and Havana syndrome. This is the time. I mean, I'm sure you agree with me. There is no other moment to do it. This is the time to do it. And I'm counting on you to help me be able to do it. Okay, so if you can go in there, The campaign, I posted it in my Mira, but this is it. It's Gifts and Go, and it's / Toledo. I don't have it here, but I will publish it everywhere. And please, I am going to just ask you, share it, share it widely, because I need the help. It's not for me, it's for everyone. We need to have a powerful voice, a honey badger voice over there, and I know that I can be that voice. I can represent you with dignity, elegance, intelligence. I can go there and do what I am committed to doing, which is ending this horrific program for everybody, not just those here in the United States, but everybody around the world. It's probably going to be more than 3 months or 4 months that I stay there, because it's going to take a while. But I am just counting on you to be able to do it. Okay, so that's all for the news I had. Let me see if there's any. Yeah, I'm sorry, I left the gavel back in Houston, so I don't have it here. But definitely yes. I hope you agree with me that this is an incredible time. Actually, I have it here. Let me copy it here. This is this is just let me put it this way. This is the time that we had all been waiting for the exposure of the illegality. I don't care if it's because the senators think they're so important, whatever. No, this is a start, and it's a big start. And there's a lot of acknowledgement and admissions of the illegalities, because many of them are talking. This was done to a lot of Americans. Okay, so here you go. Let me see. They denied your privacy request. Not if you make them like the new ones. Okay, the new ones specifically direct the FBI to look in their prohibited access and restricted access files, and they have to do it. If not, we're going to give you and provide you, I'm going to provide you with models of appeals, so that we can get ready. If we need to continue through a legal process, it's going to happen. Okay? And I'm going to count on Marcy, the TI. She is in DC, and any other TIs that are there. We need to make a team. And I am announcing this Saturday, we have the meeting in Houston for November. The monthly meeting is going to be in Washington, D.C., location to be announced. But we're not going to stop having the monthly meeting. I'm going to be doing daily and maybe weekly updates. I have made, I'm going to be preparing Zoom calls for people, for donors. I'm going to be doing Zoom calls once a month. And I'm just going to create different packages for people to make it easy for people to collaborate. TIs reporting to Congress, to local government. Yeah. They intercept our mail. That's why I'm going to DC. That's why I'm going there. Because so if you need, okay, yeah, well, you need to appeal it. I'm going to be writing the appeal for people to have a model, because clearly they are, if they don't produce the evidence that we know is in those files, well, they can be subject, this time around, they're going to have to reply to a lawsuit. Okay, so anyways, thank you so much. I don't see any questions. People have been, let me just say that, the enemy, the criminals, have been trying to discourage me from going to DC. And of course, they're going to try to mind control people into not supporting me for one reason, because they don't want me there. But I am not going to allow it. I am going to go, and I'm not going to leave until we're all free. That's my goal. So I ask that you help me accomplish it. Thank you, and Have a good night.